MGTOW, pummeled husband behavior and the origin of the mangina. Since I have become a MGTOW, I am starting to see the empty shells that we formerly used to call men. Being in a marriage with a woman sucks all the manhood from a man and turns him into the mangina we all have come to hate. The fact is that I actually feel sorry for these men. There was a time that they were regular males, just like us. There was a time that they had ambition and fire in their hearts. They are just extinguished by years and years of conditioning. Look, all a man wants is a happy and quiet life. We don't want to have arguments, we don't want to have hour-long discussions about nonsense. But once you engage into a relationship with a female, these are things that are bound to happen. You will have discussion about little details, about little things you said wrong, or about sentences wherein you used the wrong word. You will have arguments about what movies you watched or with which females you had a conversation. We, as men, are survivors. That means that we adapt to situations, to make it as comfortable for ourselves as possible. In the case of living with a woman, it means you turn yourself in a mangina. Here is one example. If you like watching Quentin Tarantino movies, but your wife keeps bugging you about them, because they are too violent according to her, you will eventually stop watching the movies. The hassle that it creates is simply not worth it, and if you just watch Disney films, she seems to leave you in peace. Result is that you will change your taste in movies into something that is more acceptable with your wife. You will do this adapting on many aspects of life, just to evade the arguments and the discussions. If your woman give you a hard time when you drink 3 beers, you will tell your friends, if my wife asks, I only had 2 beers. And your friends will call you a mangina. You do whatever it takes to please your wife or girlfriend. But essentially, I don't think a man does that to please his wife. He merely does it to avoid her angry and furious wrath that she will bring down upon him if he does otherwise. I will tell you one experience I had. Me and my girlfriend were sitting at my house. Her parents would stop by later. So, at first her father showed up. Her mother would come a little later. So her father sat down on the couch and I asked him if he wanted anything to drink. Well, he wanted a whiskey, so I poured him a glass of my finest scotch. We were talking and drinking the scotch. I'm a smoker, so I offered him a cigarette. That is normal man code. If you drink whiskey during a good conversation and you're about to light up a cigarette, you offer the guy one too, right? Well, he gladly took the cigarette and said, "How nice, I haven't had a cigarette for months." We continued our conversation when suddenly the doorbell rang. It was my girlfriend's mother. I was stunned about what happened next. Her father, in one swoop, threw his whiskey into my flower pot, threw the cigarette on my floor and stamped on it. I saw the panic in his eyes. He was getting rid of all the evidence, completely forgetting that he was a guest in my house. He just killed my plants and put a cigarette out on my floor. I looked at the door and her mother came in the living room. At first she was looking around the table to see what her husband was drinking. She said, "Are you drinking whiskey?" "No," he replied. In my head I thought, "You fucking liar. First you throw my expensive whiskey into the plant pot, you stamp your cigarette on my floor, and now you're lying in my house." But I saw the look in his eyes. It went from a peaceful stare to a completely panicked gaze. I had to help him. "No," I said to his wife, "that glass is still there from yesterday, Your husband just walked in. I thought to myself, damn mangina. Now you're making me lie too. Anyways, the situation was clear. The poor man was not allowed to drink a whiskey and have a cigarette. The woman actually thought that she had the power to make those decisions for another human being. She was the one in control. She had a rule book and the man just had to follow it. If he didn't, she would spoil his evening and probably his night and morning after. She would put him down and say derogatory things to him, like alcoholic or addict. She would say, I'm not going to hug you tonight, because you stink of smoke and alcohol. Now, I know that he didn't do it to make her happy. He did it because he is tired of the bullshit. He is tired of justifying his own decisions to a person that is not gonna listen anyways. It is easier to just do what she says, than to be a rebel and do what you want. A female can hold a grudge for days. She can keep an argument going for days. We, men, we tire quickly of it. And we don't want to continue having this argument. And a nagging wife for hours after hours. There are few things that are more annoying. Comes with it, that they are really adept to hurt your feelings. They know just what to say, to make you feel horrible about yourself and about your actions. They can make you feel like a piece of shit and they will make you feel like a little boy again. When mama was angry, 'cause you ate too many cookies. When you are in a relationship, you will try and avoid these situations like the plague. With females, this is your best credo, just let her have what she wants, that saves me a whole lot of discomfort. And essentially, this is also the reason why it is so hard to live with that gender. And the reason why a man is better off without her. I think it would be better if we, the MGTOWs, stand by these manginas. They are hostages and they do what they have to have a peaceful life. I think the best way to describe a man in a relationship is as a lion in captivity. The lion is not aggressive anymore. It has lost its fire a long time ago. Whereas we, MGTOWs, are wild lions. We have stayed true to our own manly feelings and habits. And we must not judge the captured lions for their weakness, but we must feel sorry for them, because they are in captivity. Essentially, they are robbed. And if we don't stand by them, they are completely at the mercy of their handlers. And they will live a life of running from the whip. And as for the MGTOWs that silently still hope for a relationship with a woman, it's obvious that a lion is tempted by the idea of having his food brought to him, without having to do much trouble. But remember, it is at the cost of your freedom. You gain stakes in your cage, but you lose everything that the lion stands for. Think twice before marrying a woman.